Hi, all. Welcome to Pump Up the Jam, where we delve into the wild lives of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle and all things American Riviera Orchard. I'm Kinsey Schofield.
And I'm Cristo here in London. You are, of course, is it sunny in Los Angeles?
It's so hot. I've been miserable the last few days.
Rain. We have rain. So I don't know what is great about Great Britain at the moment, other than, of course, our royal family, our monarchy, and I'm not trying to destroy them, which is a nice touch, I think. And neither, Kinsey, are you.
That's right. I love them, and I don't know what Harry and Meghan are up to lately. Actually, we do, because we have a pretty jam-packed show today. We're going to talk about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's feud with the Beckhams, which you and I have been glued to forever because Tom Bower revealed some of this information in his first book, Revenge. Harry, jeopardizing his relationship with the monarchy even further, potentially, with a new book. The Pat Tillman Award, which has the petition to stop Harry from receiving this award now at nearly 50,000 signatures. And we're also going to touch base a little bit on Meghan Markle's dad, Thomas Markle, and what he said to New Zealand Woman's Weekly. So a lot of new information to go over this week.
And Rose.
And Rose, don't forget Rose all day. Rose
Don't
all day.
forget the Rose. Now, when we were in London together a couple of weeks ago, I didn't
Wait,
realise how much
are you jumping the gun on this story, or should this come with the rosé story?
No, I'm just going to say that I'm surprised you're not drinking it now because I have never seen a woman consume rosé in the way that you did. I swear, if my back was turned, you'd have snorted it. So I expect you to be fully qualified in talking about rosé, Kinsey Schofield, when we get to that story. All right, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
All right, so let's talk about this new Tom Bower book. Now, Tom Bower, you and I reference him a lot because he is such a great expert on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Spent a significant amount of time researching them for his book, Revenge. And, there were real concerns that Harry and Meghan might sue him throughout the process of Revenge because of some of those really damning revelations in that book. And lo and behold, no lawsuit ever formulated. And now we're talking about his new book, The House of Beckham, Money, Sex, and Power, where Harry and Meghan receive a little bit of a throwback because this was a relationship that could potentially have been lucrative for the both of them. And it's Meghan that we found out that really jeopardized this relationship going forward. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, because Meghan allegedly told Prince Harry. So you're quite right. They were sort of hanging around together a bit back in 2018, and Prince Harry and David Beckham. Well, in fact, David Beckham with both of the royal princes, Harry and William, had a good relationship with them both. Now, back at the 2018 Invictus Games, Meghan Markle told Prince Harry to avoid being photographed with David Beckham. This is apparently what was decided. It's been written in the book, so as you rightly say, I'm sure there will be some lawsuits if this is not true, just like with Revenge. That didn't happen. But David Beckham had turned up to the Invictus Games to show support to Prince Harry, and apparently Meghan Markle had already told Prince Harry beforehand, do not be seen with David Beckham. Now, the reason for this is that apparently Meghan didn't want any competition in the media from David Beckham, but also she thought that Victoria Beckham had previously sold stories on her and Prince Harry, therefore meaning that she no longer had trust for Victoria Beckham. Because I can just imagine Victoria Beckham sat at home going, Meghan Markle is so important in my life, it's so important that I'm associated with her, that I'm going to ring up a lowly reporter at a tabloid newspaper and I'm going to make sure that they know all the details. Because, Victoria Beckham isn't really famous in her own right, is
No.
she?
No, exactly. Not a former Spice Girl with a multi-million dollar clothing line, with a multi-million dollar now beauty line. But the conversation between Victoria and Meghan was allegedly about beauty advice. And here's what Tom Bower said specifically: sensitive to the media's probing into her unusual past, Meghan was outraged by the report. This was the latest of a series of nasty revelations by London's newspapers. The author claimed Harry was once ordered again to complain to David Beckham about Victoria Beckham. So Meghan's literally telling Harry, I want you to go to David Beckham and say this about his wife, Victoria Beckham, instead of being confrontational on her own. But also, it's just, like you said, it's absolutely ludicrous that Meghan thinks that Victoria Beckham doesn't have 30,000 other things going on, that she would want to do this. And then Tom Bower also said in his book that Meghan is not only envious when it comes to David Beckham and Victoria Beckham's star power, how really it is, when it comes to fame in the UK, the most popular celebrity couple, is probably the Prince and Princess of Wales. Under that is probably David and Victoria Beckham. But she's also legitimately envious of their bank account. I mean, apparently she's very envious of their wealth, which seems silly. But if you look at how much Harry and Meghan have to hustle, podcasts here, rosé there. If you look at Harry, all of his little job descriptions, I mean, they do have to hustle to maintain that Montecito mansion.
Oh yeah, they pale into insignificance. I mean, Victoria Beckham turned down a Spice Girls reunion tour. They went ahead without her because she didn't need the money, she didn't need the publicity. So the idea that she would be trying to cling on to Meghan Markle's coattails in order to make herself more famous or more relevant is absolutely ludicrous. And let's not also forget yet another example of the dog biscuit Duchess and her ruthlessness. Their friendship came about between Meghan and Victoria because Victoria actually reached out to Meghan Markle when she moved to the UK to say to her, allegedly, look, here are some great spots to go for your hair. Here are some great spots to go for beauty because that will keep you under the radar if you want to stay out of the limelight. Here are some great places to go to get your fashions, helping her basically give her a little black book as to the guide to the most exclusive and most private places in London in order to be able to live her life. And that was
Which actually was bad advice, because in the end it was a receptionist that sold the story that Victoria was blamed for. So off the radar is not necessarily where they were. So really new, interesting revelations in Tom Bower's new book about Harry and Meghan. You'll have
And also, sorry to jump in, but it just goes to show how little Victoria knew Meghan, because Meghan would not want to be going to the places where there wasn't publicity. She wouldn't want to be going to the places where she wouldn't be photographed. She would. I'm not surprised. I went down to my local Marks and Spencers the other day, and I'm sure I saw her outside there hoping to be tapped. She wants to be seen by everyone. So therefore, probably slightly misjudged by Victoria Beckham. But yeah, yet another example of how Meghan treats her friends.
Well, talk to me about Jenny Bond's comments about Prince Harry potentially releasing a new book and how that could get underneath the skin of the royal family.
Well, as you know, of course, you were talking about the hustling, whether it be dog biscuits, whether it be rosé, whether it be a podcast that failed, whether it be being the CEO of an eco travel firm whilst taking private jets. They will literally do anything for money. And Spare, of course, one of Harry's most successful ventures. I mean, from a monetary point of view, from a worldwide publicity point of view, whether it be good or bad publicity is another matter. You can't not call Spare, I think, a success. Obviously, it severed ties with his family forever and made us all realise that all he does is whinge, but a success nonetheless. Well, obviously, there has been a lot of talk about a sequel to Spare. Perhaps Spare Part, Spare Tire. I mean, I don't know what we would call it. What would we call it? Spare Us, please. Another one. That's what I'd call it. Well, apparently, Jenny Bond, very, very respected royal expert here. She was the royal correspondent for the BBC for many years. She's still drafted in to talk about big royal issues. She has said that she believes that he does not want to write another book, not because of the lack of monetary value, but because it would absolutely be the final nail in the coffin between him and his family. There would be no going back from this. This would be it. I can't imagine Harry would want to write a follow up to Spare, she said. He's indicated he wants to move on. He said his piece, vented his anger, faced the consequences. I don't believe for a moment he will revisit his grievances for a second book. She said he might write a book about Invictus, might write a book about something else, but not about the grievances with his family. So, do we believe that, or if there was a check big enough, would he dredge it back all up again? And secondly, is it out of any kind of morality that he wouldn't write another book, or is it because without that thread of a royal connection, and it is hanging by a thread, he would never be invited to anything else again?
I think that he is under contractual obligation to write another book, as far as I remember, with Penguin Random House. But I think if he does, he should go the route that he did the first time this book was coming out. I kept saying, you've got to do a motivational book. You know, here's what I lost, here's what I gained, here's how I learned to live. That's not what he did, and I knew that the second I saw the title Spare. So I think if he does, you know, fulfill his contractual obligations and publish more books, then they have to be positive and uplifting, because people have a very negative view of him today, and he could utilize those books to try to turn that around. But he's going to need a damn good ghostwriter, because again, I don't know if he's actually capable of doing something that might turn people's opinions of him around at this point in time. But I do think he would write about his family again. I think that his father is going to pass away inevitably. I know that that could get me thrown in the tower for saying it. We never want to discuss that, but he was waiting to publish a book after his, originally they were saying there was going to be an additional publication of his book after the Queen died. So
wasn't there originally 3 books that we were told that there were going to be, actually?
I believe
one
that it was
before
3.
the Queen dies, one after the Queen dies, and then a further one.
Right. And so I suspect that maybe he would release a book after his father passed away, and especially if Prince William continues to keep him at arm's length, because what will the repercussions be if Prince William's already bullied you out of, and that's a terrible word. Prince William is doing the right thing by distancing himself from his brother, and I should stress that Prince William has pushed Harry out of the fold. There are new reports from the Daily Beast that he's taken on the role of Prince Philip when it comes to the disciplinary figure in the family, and is saying no to Prince Harry being anywhere near the family, and I fully support that. So if Prince Harry has accepted the fact that there's no role for him in the royal family, what's to keep him from writing something salacious and hurtful after the death of his father? That's my take. I don't think he's done.
Well, there is this really, it's repellent. I'm sorry, it is repellent. This continual um, threat that seems to be hanging over whatever monarch there is, that a book will be written. You know, now there was this threat over over Queen Elizabeth. Let's not forget, in her dying days, that there would be a book released after her death, and very distinctively a book before she died, and then a book after, very markedly making the point that I've got stuff to say that I want you to hear, but I've also got stuff up
we
my.
should acknowledge that didn't happen. Why did that not happen? Perhaps it's because the Queen passed away so quickly around the time the book was supposed to come out. But don't forget, he told, and I believe it was either the Telegraph or the Independent, that there was a significant amount that was removed because he was fearful that it would hurt his father and brother, and that legal could not clear. So we know that there is stuff, and he's being accused of destroying drafts in court. So, and we'll be careful with that. But I mean, we have to, there's a reality here that the content exists out there somewhere on the cloud.
And the threat, just this threat, again, you're probably right. Because Queen Elizabeth died a couple of months before Spare was released, that probably put the timeline out. You're right, probably legally. But the threat was still made in her final months. And now, potentially, if another book is coming, and let's be honest, they've not said that one is coming, although, like you say, that contractually they are obliged. Is that going to be another threat hanging over Prince Charles, or King Charles, I should say? I still call him Prince Charles, in his final, battle against cancer? Not his final days, but hopefully the final time he's going to be fighting this illness. Again, he doesn't need that. So it's this veiled threat that I've got stuff up my sleeve. You're quite right, though. Perhaps a more appropriate next book would be one about the legal system, because clearly Harry has an awful lot of experience in it. And especially when we heard this week, as you say, that he has been accused of some improprieties, shall we say. That's what we'll say. Let me just give you the final quote, actually. Jenny Bond gives a really good final quote on this. She actually says, if he did go there, then I'm sure the response would be a continued dignified silence and a resounding crash as the palace doors slammed on any hope of a future reconciliation. So, will he choose the money or will he choose a familial reconciliation?
Love Jenny Bond, but would never put Prince Harry and dignified silence in the same sentence.
Yeah. Well, actually, this does take us nicely to the next story, and this is this sports award for veterans, because what was in the
also
book
would not
Spare,
put Prince Harry and Pat Tillman in the same sentence, but here we are.
Yeah, that is Pat Tillman. Now, Pat Tillman. Now, you probably know more about this award than I, because it's not very well known over here. So,
Wait,
so
you know
who was
what?
Pat
Wait,
Tillman?
I have to interrupt us. We forgot the biggest part of the Tom Bower story. The biggest part of the Tom Bower story, just to throw back, is that David Beckham recognized that he was shunned by Prince Harry after Meghan Markle insisted they not be photographed together at the Invictus event. So he got on a plane and flew nearly 8,000 miles to make sure that he was there to support Prince William and the Princess of Wales in Boston. And I was there at that event. And I thought, wow, that's so weird that David Beckham's here, because he was like taking a side. And so David Beckham flew to Boston to ensure that he was there to support Prince William for his Earthshot Prize Award. And Bower says that was the Beckhams' way to kind of show Prince Harry that they were turning on him and that they were going to stay on the side of the true royals, the real royal family, and that they were kind of done with them and that they really did not appreciate the way that Harry and Meghan were treating the royal family over the last few years. So, wow, we buried the lead there.
Well, actually, that's not a surprising move, because firstly, the Beckhams are ruthless. I mean, I don't, the love or loathe them. They are ruthless operators, and you have to be, I think, to be at your top of the game like that. They are very canny, whether you love or loathe them. I think that is a fair comment. And secondly, David Beckham, it's one of the things that sort of puts me off him a little bit, is desperate to be a Sir. Absolutely desperate.
Wait, was it Sir? Was it?
Knighthood.
I thought that he did not want the Sir. I thought Sir wasn't good enough for him.
Oh, he wants to be Sir David Beckham, without a shadow of a doubt.
Was it OBE or MBE that wasn't good enough for him? Because they go through that in the book, and I'm forgetting which title.
It's Sir. The Sir is the top one.
Sir.
The knighthood is the top, and that's what he wants. And so I would have been surprised to have thought that he would have been Team Harry in the first place, because by doing so, that knighthood would be, well, riding off in armour in the distance. So I think that he chose very, very wisely by being Team William and Catherine, Prince William, Princess Catherine, I think it's fair to say. But yes, so we have that story. We obviously, with this other book story, we've got Spare. And now, so let's go back to this. So apparently the contents of the book Spare, there are parts of it that have now put this award that is being mooted for Prince Harry in jeopardy. And it's called the Pat Tillman Award. Now, who was Pat Tillman, and why is he an important figure in American military history?
Pat Tillman is, honestly, because I'm also from Arizona, so Pat Tillman is not just, he's a very big hero in the state of Arizona, but like statues dedicated to him. But he's an American hero. He was a professional NFL player, played for the Arizona Cardinals, and he really blew everyone's minds when he decided to leave the Arizona Cardinals. He was making at least $3 million on his contract and enlist in the Army because he was so upset and emotional over the September 11th terrorist attacks. And he had several other family members that had served before him. And despite being this huge rock star in the sports world, he felt like he couldn't compare to his grandparents and other members of his family that had served in the military. Like, that was so important to him. So he was killed in Afghanistan in 2004 by friendly fire. But the government lied to his family for years. It took 4 separate investigations before his family found out that he was killed in friendly fire, and he wasn't actually ambushed like they were originally told. And his mother, who is just, I'm going to say it because we're on YouTube, balls of steel, actually, who pushed the government, who fought tooth and nail to get the truth about what actually happened to her son. Her name is Mary Tillman. And so he really, this is such an important figure in our history, in our country, Pat Tillman. And ESPN has an award that is supposed to go to an individual that should be recognized under this incredible name.
ESPN is a massive sports network.
Yeah,
in the
ESPN is a
States,
sports network, and this is supposed to go to somebody that is somehow associated with sports and military, and it just, none of this makes sense when it comes to Prince Harry. I don't care how.
So it honors service, it honors sort of dedication, it honors massive sacrifice,
Yes.
and it's now been decided, ESPN, to give Prince Harry the Pat Tillman Award. And the story here is now that there is this petition online that is gaining massive momentum. I mean, it's now at 44,500 signatures. 14,000 people have signed it today, and it has been started to protest about Prince Harry being given this award. Now, I'll just read you what some of this change.org petition says. Pat Tillman's story, his patriotism, loyalty, ultimate sacrifice for his military squad are undeniably remarkable. As such, the award should be representative of his values and should honour someone who, like Tillman, has shown unwavering dedication to their squad and country. I find the decision to award Prince Harry with the Pat Tillman Award disconcerting. Prince Harry, whilst a former military officer, has been involved in controversies that call into question his suitability to receive an honour of this magnitude. He's faced accusations of endangering his squadron by publicly revealing military kills. That's what happened in Spare. But more recently, his role in the Invictus Games, a platform meant to celebrate the resilience and dedication of veterans, has been criticised as self-centered. I mean, in one paragraph, you couldn't sum up Prince Harry any better.
I know. Well, also, you think about what Pat Tillman's mom recently said. I am shocked as to why they would select such a controversial and divisive individual to receive the award. There are recipients that are far more fitting. These are individuals working in the veteran community that are doing tremendous things to assist veterans. These individuals do not have the money, resources, connections, or privilege that Prince Harry has. I feel that those types of individuals should be recognized. And she stressed that no one asked her opinion because clearly if they had, she would have not been excited about this pick.
So what do you think will happen? Do you think, because they love turning up for an award ceremony, Harry and Meghan, that let's not forget, if they are able to, because of the low-speed car chases that they're involved in when they do.
They will turn up for this because ESPN has responded to the petition. They've responded to the criticism, and they said ESPN, with the support of the Tillman Foundation, which is run by Pat Tillman's former wife, is honored in honoring Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, specifically for the work of the Invictus Games Foundation as it celebrates its 10th year, promoting healing through the power of sport for military service members and veterans around the world. While we understand not everyone will agree with all honorees selected for any award, the Invictus Games does incredible work, and ESPN believes this is a case worth celebrating. And to that I say, thank God Prince Harry stole the idea from the Warrior Games. Otherwise, he would legitimately have nothing of value going on in his life right now.
But I mean, there are probably people, though, because obviously Prince Harry does not do the nuts and bolts of the Invictus Games.
No,
You know,
I mean,
he
that's what I
turns
keep
up.
saying. That's what I keep saying. Not only did the royal family build the template for the Invictus Games, the royal family gave him all of the credibility he needed, and
The starting money.
the starting money. Like, can you tell me? I want Prince Harry to tell me how he organizes the porta potties at the Invictus Games. Where do the porta potties go, Prince Harry? Like, Prince Harry is.
I love that. You went so Ricky Lake then. I won. Prince Harry, you did. You really went very Ricky Lake there, and I'm all about that. I really am. But yeah, you're right. Does he organise the portable toilets? Does he sort of organise the grounds being made suitable? Does he organise the railings? No, there's probably a CEO or a senior management team that has to be in work at 6 a.m. every single day to do that, that is on the phone to chemical toilet companies the world over to try and arrange all of that. Well, give it to them. Give it to that person. And how, actually, again, you know, we've done the videos on the top PR triumphs and disasters for Prince Harry and Meghan. What a PR triumph that would have been for Prince Harry to have said, to have turned up to say, I'm here because I want to honour actually the person behind the Invictus. So I'm going to come to the Pat Tillman Award because I want to be here to shine a light on the
Or
person
bring that
who's actually
person
going to
up
get
with
it.
you. Bring that person up with you and say, all celebrations and celebratory, mentions should go to this person. This is the
So I'm
person
actually
doing it.
giving the award to them.
Yeah, I mean, but he's not going to. He's going to show up for to go next to his aviation award, which is just another wild throwback. I mean, all these people do is collect trophies, and if you think about the amount of work Prince William has done, again, Pat Tillman died, and I'm trying to be careful with my words, but I'm so fired up that I want to be really raw about it. Pat Tillman died for his country. He is truly a reflection of a life of service. Harry says he's giving up the royal family to pursue a life of service, and you can't define a life of service. Ricky Lake again. You can't define a life of service. Harry and Meghan, and Harry left a life of service that he was born into, that already existed. You're going to shake hands here, 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 and here, and you're going to do all these good deeds to pursue Hollywood and fame with his actress wife, to pursue $1 million paychecks to sit in front of a camera and cry about your dad. That Harry is literally the opposite of Pat Tillman.
The antithesis of
It
the
is
whole.
wild to me that somebody and you and I both know the only reason this company is doing this is because they want a royal presence at their crappy award show that no one gives a flying you-know-what about.
Yeah. But if anyone in the comments knows who does organise the chemical toilets for the Invictus, because now I'm fascinated, actually, I really would like to know the answer to that question, please. Let's give them an award. Let's talk about Thomas Markle. We've not mentioned him for a while. And do you want to do this story? What's going on with Thomas Markle?
Yeah, so apparently we heard from him when he talked to the Daily Mail around his birthday, but he's also recently spoken to New Zealand Women's Weekly after watching Trooping the Colour. So he watched Trooping the Colour and he told the publication, "It struck me as very sad that Meghan and Harry's kids are being denied the right to know their cousins, who look like fantastic children, or take part in things like Trooping the Colour, which is their birthright." And going on to say that they are inevitably going to ask questions about why they didn't have the life that they see their cousins having, that historically they can see other children in their position having, like Beatrice and Eugenie, likely not going to ever take the throne, but they got to be in the mix growing up. They got to roll around with Prince Harry and Prince William and the Easters and all of the Christmases. And Thomas Markle is saying this is their birthright. They're going to be resentful of it. To which I say, I'm very critical of the Markle family, I know, in the past for talking, but this coming from Meghan's father is more powerful than any royal expert ever. The accuracy is undeniable. These children are going to resent this.
I agree. I absolutely agree. But I don't think it's just the pomp and majesty. I grew up in London, but a massive number of my mum's family, all her brothers, moved to Canada. And so a lot of my cousins were all together in Canada when I grew up in St Albans, outside London, with not very many cousins. And so it always used to sting a bit where you'd see family photos or big celebrations, and all of my Canadian cousins were together, and I was a bit like, oh, why am I here? Why am I not with any of them? Now, I didn't have to see them in any way, shape, or form on national television all the time, in newspapers and all of those sorts of things. So even without the majesty of it all, even without them being jealous of the royal side of it, I think they're going to grow up saying, well, hang on, why are all my cousins there? Why are all my family there? And they're all together and they're all having a great time, Christmases and birthdays and Easters and everything else. And we're here and it's just us two. And I think that that's going to be difficult.
It's going to be worse than that, because I have a sneaky suspicion that, based on even Tom Bower's book, I have a sneaky suspicion that there is a ban on royalty in that house. I bet you Meghan Markle wants the TV off during Trooping the Color. I bet you Meghan Markle wants the TV off during stories about Will and Kate's anniversary special. I don't think that she allows that influence in the house. So I think one day
she'll definitely have it switched off for 90210 and Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, I made that space for a very specific reason. But I have a sneaky suspicion that they're going to be they're going to get old enough to have access to a computer, and somebody will have said something to them and they're going to Google it and they're going to be blown away by the reality, because I think that she probably doesn't want them to envy, Prince George and Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. And I think she probably wants them to be completely oblivious.
Well, they probably have been told that Harry and Meghan are king and queen. They've probably been told that. There's probably a throne room in the mansion somewhere, and if anyone asks, oh yeah, I'm King Harry. This is Queen Meghan. Yeah, if anyone asks, that's what's going on. Don't say anything else. I think it is really sad. I think it's sad on a familial level. I think it's sad on a sort of royal level. I think it's just really, really sad for them. And you're right, it has a special poignancy from Thomas Markle, whom, of course, has been completely denied access to his grandchildren. So if anyone's going to know how it feels to not have that family connection, it's going to be him, because he has been completely cut out ruthlessly by his daughter, of course. And all he can probably do is look at those bank statements, thinking about all the money that he spent on her education and her upbringing, for which he has had absolutely no thanks whatsoever.
Exactly. Remember the speeches where she talked about getting herself through all of those things? That was my favorite line in the Tom Bower book, when he says her unusual past. It's unusual because there are a lot of different versions of it.
Which one is true? I mean, well, it depends on whatever magazine she's talking to at the time as to what version
my
of the
Malta
past is
upbringing,
true.
my Malta history.
That is hilarious. I'm from Malta now. No, I'm from Nigeria. No. Where am I from? I'm from over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely amazing.
You're from the
Now,
mean streets of Beverly Hills. We'll make this one quick because there's not a lot of information on it. And that's kind of the joke. Meghan Markle, where this is through the Daily Mail and Tatler, telling us that rosé is actually going to be the first product she launches. Cristo, when is she going to launch anything? When is anything coming? Why this couple hypes up so much and the only thing they manage to do is accept trophies?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we've seen Chateau Mirabelle from Brad and Angelina when it came to their rosé. I prefer Chateau Mirabeau, which is a beautiful rosé that we have. That was what you and I were drinking that day when you drank me under the table in the Ivy in London. I think Meghan's rosé is going to be called Chateau Shut on My Family. I think that is now. That is an exclusive I can bring you here on Pump Up the Jam. Chateau, shut on all my friends and family. And of course, it's going to be the first rosé for American Riviera Orchard. I mean, they could be saying anything at this point, couldn't they? We've had the dog biscuits. We've had the Duchess dog biscuit. We've had the Duke of Delusion. And now we've got the royal rosé, or should we say the unroyal rosé.
This is a serious question. Do you think that this story was leaked because she was so humiliated by the dog biscuit unveiling? I mean, really, how many of us went on TV and said, what an insult to think you're going to take attention away from the Princess of Wales with dog biscuits? We really ripped into her. Is the rosé, did somebody leak that because she wants to clear it up and be like, actually, no, I'm better than dog biscuits. I have booze.
Well, I don't know the thought of rosé being leaked anywhere. Thank you very much indeed to start with. But I suppose so, because it is classier, isn't it? It can't be champagne. So is it sort of the next one down? It does put her in the league with those celebrities that I mentioned. Kylie's got a rosé. Brad and Angelina have got a rosé. Of course, there's George Clooney. Has he got a tequila?
He has a
Is it George
tequila.
Clooney that's got that? It is a tequila. So that does put her on that sort of double A list. When you have alcohol, I can't think of any other celebrities that have got dog biscuits.
Right.
So I mean, it
It's
did put
Rachel
her in a
Ray, which
unique
I don't
place.
think you know who Rachel Ray is, but it's Rachel Ray is probably like the only celebrity. But you know what? Dog Biscuits also competes with James Middleton. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, her brother, is very much in the dog sphere, has a book, has dog food. I mean, he says that his dog saved his life. It's the reason that he's alive today. So I feel, that was also being mentioned at the time. Like, what an insult to this James, who's built an entire brand, like really from scratch. And this is his life, like really
Do you think? Do you think that's what Meghan envisaged? You know, when her and Harry were making that emergency flight away from the UK to try and start their new life, unsure of what was happening, needing to escape to the mansion in order to try and get to that safety. Do you think at any point during that flight she thought, dog biscuits, we're doing this for dog biscuits?
No, because she left Bogart behind in Canada. So no, I don't think
Yeah.
that was on her agenda. All right, well,
Is the dog still in Canada? Has anyone
yeah,
picked up? Has anyone fed the dog?
we don't even know. We don't even know where that poor dog is today. All right, if you agree with Cristo and I, disagree with Cristo and I, know who does the toilets at Invictus, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like this video, share it with a friend, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next week.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, do all the things.
All
Bye.
right, bye bye.